Home Sold Guaranteed radio show, where you get advice you can trust from the Capital Region's leading experts in real estate and all related fields. From the latest real estate trends to the best mortgage rates, from curb appeal to home warranty, this is the talk show that will help you save and make the most when it comes to buying or selling your most valuable asset. Now, here's your host, broker and founder of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, The Property Shop, John Bevilacqua.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Johnny G.
He's here.
The man in black.
Got the black shirt on today.
That's right. Little Johnny Cash action, right?
It takes a few pounds off when you wear dark clothes, they tell me so.
I think you dressed appropriately. You dressed appropriately again today, because today is the mold show.
Oh, the mold show. I've been looking forward to this one.
We've hyped this up for a while.
Yeah, we have,
I'm dedicating this show to my Aunt Concetta, who's my godmother, who's been awaiting this. For some reason, she's intrigued by mold, and she's wanted to hear how mold can be prevented in the home.
Yes, or abated,
right, yeah. We're going to talk about that. We got Matt from Ace Home Inspections here, Matt Stonecipher.
And he ought to know.
My main man.
Yes.
This guy is like, he lives... Well, I don't even say breathes mold.
We're happy to see that. Yeah,
I try to breathe it as little as possible.
It's very unhealthy. So, but we're gonna talk about some of the myths of mold, right? Because you hear mold and people freak out, and mold is everywhere, right?
Absolutely, it really is.
So it's something that's got to get discussed. It's a big topic. It's the number one deal killer, in my opinion, as a realtor. For real estate transactions, because now when we're going to talk about how New York State passed these mold laws a few years ago, and how mold is now the new asbestos, what it's doing to really throw wrenches in other people's real estate transactions, homeowners, home buyers.
Sure.
And we're going to dispel some of the myths. We're going to talk about some of the tips and tricks, and I think what do we have? The top 6 mold prevention strategies. I think that's what we wrote in here today. So
good deal.
We're going to go over those. First, we're going to hear from our sponsors. We're going to hear Matt's commercials, Ben, Kim, all of our sponsors on the show, and then we're going to come back and talk about mold.
Sounds good.
To schedule an appointment with John Bevilacqua to help you buy or sell your home, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. John will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show here on Magic 100.5 and AM 590.
Hey, it's John Tesh. If you're thinking of selling your home, let me take the stress out of deciding which agent to hire. In the Capital Region, the agent I recommend is John Bevilacqua, founder of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty at The Property Shop. So for 2 decades, John has helped more than 2,500 families buy and sell the place they call home. That's a solid track record, one that's backed up by dozens of 5-star reviews. Hello. In fact, John is so confident in his marketing system to attract the right buyer for your home that he guarantees to sell it at a price and deadline you agree to, or he's going to buy it himself for cash. And he provides that guarantee in writing. The agent I trust is John Bevilacqua, and he's the agent you should trust too. His name is his promise. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. So write this number down. It's 518-957-SOLD. That's easy. 518-957-7653. Or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. I love that one. johnnyhasthebuyers.com, and you'll get your home sold guaranteed.
Hi, I'm Matthew Stonecipher, owner of Ace Home Inspections. Whether you're buying or selling a home, let your agent know that you want to work with Ace Home Inspections because you insist on the best home inspection services in the Capital Region. You can also expect a home warranty, pest inspection, and mold assessment included at no additional cost. You deserve better than just a guy in a truck with a notepad. At Ace Home Inspections, we are fully staffed and here for you when you call 518-727-7091 or visit us online at acehomeny.com.
Buying or selling the place you call home can be stressful. When you have questions, you don't want to wait for answers. Well, for 20 years, Kim Salerno and her team at Salerno Law have built a solid reputation with buyers, sellers, and real estate agents as fast, respectful communicators. They know Salerno Law will protect their rights and respond quickly when a question arises. Trust Salerno Law. Call 518-309-3404 and check out their 5-star reviews at salernolawny.com.
If you're buying or selling your home and would like to schedule an appointment with John, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show and your host, John Bevilacqua.
All right, guys, we're back. Matt Stonecipher, Ace Home Inspection, the number one home inspector in the Capital Region, at least in my opinion.
I think in everybody's
opinion, it should be. This guy's got 25. What were you telling me in the break room? How many?
Radon monitors.
Radon monitor.
Yeah, we have a whole physical office.
If you're going to try to compete with Ace, good luck, because this guy's he's like an army of home inspectors. Like they did. How would you do? 21 last week?
Yeah, 21. Yep.
Oh my God! How much mold did you find out of 21?
We probably did 7 or 8 mold assessments.
See that? Oh my God! So that's almost 35%.
Yeah, 35%. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, it's before we get into that. Listen, why we're here. Committed to coming every Saturday to bring people in the capital region or wherever you're listening the best tips, tricks, strategies on real estate, how to save money, how to buy a home right. We're here for you guys. I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm not bragging, just applying for the job of your home. But we want to make sure that our listeners know what's going on when they go to buy or sell a place to call home. It's also a call-in show. Want to let everybody know Johnny's on the switchboard waiting for your call. So if you want to chime in on the mold subject or want to talk to us about future shows or something that you'd like to talk about on another show, give us a call, 476-5900, 476-5900. So, Matt, let's get into this. The mold show's been coming with much anticipation because it's such a hot topic. So a little preface. Back in 2016, I'll never forget this because when New York State passed this mold law in the labor laws for realtors, they piled us up into rooms and told us listen, you guys are now going to have to enforce mold in real estate transactions. This is a new thing, and basically it was a consumer protection measure that they did. So once all these measures took place during a home inspection, if mold is found, 2 things have to happen. So Matt, what happens once you guys find the mold? What's the kind of 2-step process?
Absolutely. So the first thing is that you have to have an inspector that has a mold assessment license, completely different license. Without a mold assessment license, you can't call it mold. You can say mold-like substance. There's all these magic words, but you got to have a mold license. So
you didn't know that.
Yeah, make sure your home inspector has a mold assessment license. All my guys do.
Huge.
So when we find mold, we create a second report. It's called the mold assessment report. That provides guidelines and rough costs as to how the process of remediation is, and even more importantly, what the cost or what the cause of that mold is.
Right. Cause is everything too, and we're going to talk about that. But let's back up a second. Let's talk a little bit about mold itself. Right? Mold is every time. It's funny when they put us in the room and all these realtors sitting there. They showed us these pictures of homes. Just covered in black mold and just tried to scare the pants out of us that, mold is this scary substance. Now, mold is everywhere, right, Matt?
Mold is literally everywhere. Go to the grocery store. You ever seen blue cheese?
It's
blue cheese mold.
Cheese.
Right. That's what it is.
So it's not an uncommon substance. And there's many different types of mold. Some are very dangerous. What are some of the dangerous types of molds, Matt, that...
my opinion is going to probably differ a little bit here. I think mold is mold. So it's not, you can have individual sensitivity specific molds, but ultimately mold is mold, and let's treat it as mold.
Treat it as mold. Okay. Yeah. So with that being said, everybody kind of reacts differently to mold, right? Some people are super sensitive to it. Some people are like, hey, guess what? I don't care. I love this house. Tell me how to fix it, and let's move on with it. So we have to kind of approach the subject differently with different people. So like Matt said, once the mold's found, then it's got to be assessed and then eventually remediated, then re-inspected again. But I want to go over some tips that we can give people that are going to help them survive the real estate transaction, especially for sellers, right? Because I feel like they're the ones that are most vulnerable, because once you put your home on the market and mold is discovered, now as the seller, you're at a disadvantage with any kind of inspection flag, right, Matt? You find something, it's the buyer's got the upper hand now, because
it's always better to be a little bit ahead of the game.
That's right. So the first thing, number one thing, and Matt and I have been working on the system and trying to develop we've developed the certified pre-owned home program. So when you list with us, we actually go through a pre-inspection. Matt comes in, looks at the house. And what are you usually looking for on the pre-inspection? It's not down and dirty as the buyer inspection, but pre-inspections, what do you look for?
So really, we're looking for all the stuff that could really throw a monkey wrench in that buyer process. We want to make sure that nothing is blindsiding the buyer. Because I've seen personally that a buyer will buy a house that they know has a bad roof, but that same buyer will back out of a house that they find out has a bad roof after the fact.
Right.
So we want to make sure everybody is prepared in setting the proper expectations.
Right, disclosure. So relative to mold now, as a homeowner in New York State, if we find the problem before your house is put on the market, has an accepted contract on it, goes to the attorneys review it, then the home inspector comes, they're able to fix the mold problem themselves.
Right.
Absolutely. So if we find mold and there's an opportunity for you to DIY it, we're going to say do it. However, let's not take a big project, right? I tell people, listen, if it's more than 10 by 10 area, like, you need to bring in a professional at that point, right?
Yeah.
Do you not recommend that, Matt?
Yeah, we usually recommend anything that's like significant. We recommend professional remediation because it's not as simple as cleaning it. There's a couple of other things to it.
Yeah.
Now, little spots, you got a couple moldy corners in your basement and stuff. Absolutely, get ahead of that game.
Get ahead of it, right?
Yeah. But Matt, where would be the first place to look for mold?
John, you beat me to the punch.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
No,
because I was sitting here thinking about it. It's like, okay, where should I go look for mold in my house? And I'm thinking bathroom, roof, windows. What do you say, Matt?
So the funny thing is, your number one spot's going to be attic.
Okay.
So nobody ever looks in their attic.
That's true.
Yeah, so ventilation is key to keep mold out because you want to keep that moisture out.
Right.
And a lot of people do not check their attics.
See, this is the peace of mind that Matt brings to the table right here.
That's right. That's right.
It's figuring out where all this stuff's hiding, getting ahead of it, and having Matt, pretty much tell you where, what the next steps are. Before we talk about where it hides, we're going to talk about that later because I got it mapped out. So number one, get your home pre-inspected first. Spend a few $100 up front to save thousands on the back end, and put yourself and get yourself out of the position to be renegotiated on by the buyer. Number two, don't wait until the home inspection to think that you don't have visible mold in high traffic areas. It's usually in the attic or parts of the basement you don't normally frequent. Now, let's say you're in mold denial, and we talked about it. You're maybe too stingy to pay Matt a few $100 to save you $1,000 on the back end. Mold gets flagged at the home inspection after the buyer signed a contract with you, and now your home's marked as pending. Okay, right? So your home comes off the market at this point, and all buyer traffic starts. So stops. I'm sorry. Stop. So now you'd married the buyer at least for the home for the time being, and at this point, as the seller, you're at mercy and disadvantage of whatever buyer inspector finds. So what do you do now? Because if the buyer walks away, the next one you're gonna have to disclose at that point, right? I mean, if you did it up front, you could have disclosed it and been ahead of the game. But now it's like you got a big question mark sitting over your house, which makes it tough for us as the realtor because now it's like, oh, this home came off the market. What's the problem? What's the big question mark, right? So the pre-inspection also solves that. Disclosure, right? Number 3 is disclosure, letting people know. If you've got mold, tell us. If you've already determined. I mean, Matt, you see it visibly a lot of times as soon as you walk in.
Absolutely.
But let me ask you this: do people recognize that they have mold? Like when you go into their house, or they're like, "Oh man, I didn't realize it was mold."
I've pointed straight at it to people before in obvious areas, and they just don't know.
Yeah.
So, it's sometimes people you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, you don't. That's true. But that helps. The disclosure, letting Matt and I know if you do have that problem, can keep you out of hot water. It'll keep you from getting into a lawsuit post-closing, because and it also makes the buyers feel like they weren't lied to, right? Because it's almost like if you disclose this information, like you let people know that, hey, I have this problem, versus them finding it and knowing that you had this problem, they feel like they got cheated, they feel they got lied to, and we've seen lawsuits post-closing, sometimes based on mold, sometimes based on other faults or
even misunderstandings,
deficiencies. So disclosure's big, right? How are we doing for time, Johnny?
Yeah, we can take a break.
Want to take a break?
Yeah.
Let's take a break. When we get back, Matt and I are going to we're going to go through. I think we have 2 more of these tips that we want to go over with you guys, and we're going to talk about getting it cleaned and cleared out of the home, and then we'll wrap it up after that. All right? Sound like a plan?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, guys.
To schedule an appointment with John Bevilacqua to help you buy or sell your home, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. John will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show here on Magic 100.5 and AM 590.
Hi, I'm Matthew Stonecipher, owner of Ace Home Inspections. Whether you're buying or selling a home, let your agent know that you want to work with Ace Home Inspections because you insist on the best home inspection services in the capital region. You can also expect a home warranty, pest inspection, and mold assessment included at no additional cost. You deserve better than just a guy in a truck with a notepad. At Ace Home Inspections, we are fully staffed and here for you when you call 518-727-7091 or visit us online at acehomeny.com.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful. What's really the best rate? Which term makes sense? Hi, I'm Ben Forcucci at Freedom One Funding in Latham. We work with 10 different lenders who provide 100 different mortgage products. I'll listen to what your needs are, and then I'll do the work to find the right option for your particular situation. We have special expertise in helping first-time home buyers. So eliminate the stress and call me today at 542-LOAN. I'm Ben Forcucci from Freedom One Funding, and I'll do the shopping for you. Call 542-LOAN.
If you're buying or selling your home and would like to schedule an appointment with John, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show and your host, John Bevilacqua.
Guys, we are back. We're back. We're sitting here with Matt Stonecipher from Ace.
We're sitting here getting moldy.
We're getting moldy, baby. I like it, John. It's good. It's good. We're just jawing a little bit during the break here, and Matt was telling me how, some people can default to get a home inspection license, and it's crazy. Like, Matt's sitting here with all this experience, and these people come off the street. You heard it on his commercial, like, don't trust a guy, contractor out of the back of a pickup truck with a pad and a pencil. That's why it's so huge to work with somebody like Matt that's certified, that knows what's going on. He knows all the ins and outs of the mold. He knows the people to call when you have mold that's certified. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so he's got a huge referral base for all these people.
All right.
Quickly, call-in show, 476-5900. You guys want to talk mold with us? We would love to get moldy with you.
Your moldy questions.
On the mold show.
Yeah.
But I missed something. The cause, right?
Yeah.
We missed, in the first half of the show, we talked about remediation, fixing the mold, but we didn't talk about source. Matt, tell us why it's so important to figure out what the source is on the mold problem.
Absolutely. I mean, the root of it is that mold needs moisture.
Right.
And moisture is like quite literally the enemy of any home.
Okay.
So you get mold in an attic, that mold needs to be removed, but ultimately we need to figure out, why is that attic wet? Do you have roof leaks? Do you have ventilation problems? Do you have, bathroom vents blowing into the attic space? All of that can deteriorate your roof, the sheathing, and cause major issues in the home, even further than that mold.
I didn't even think about that. Your bathroom fan is...
Sure, yeah.
The ductwork might have came up. I mean, because you're not going up to the attic like
to check it. And and I have seen that myself in houses I've owned where that attic fan, not the attic fan, the bathroom fan empties out in the attic when it should be going outside.
It should be going outside.
It's literally pulling moisture out of the bathroom and putting it somewhere else.
Yep.
Is there like a usual suspect for attics, basements? So attics and basements are probably the biggest culprits, but is there like a top 5 culprits of water moisture?
Absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing in attics is ventilation. Older houses weren't ventilated as well because they used to breathe a little bit better. Mm-hmm. And now you put a modern roof on, a little bit more airtight. All that humidity gets trapped in that attic. So that's the biggest 95% of the stuff we see. Moisture issues in attic from lack of ventilation and too much humidity.
Okay, so humidity's big.
Yeah, yep. Basements. I mean, the big thing around here is this is the Capital District. We're old.
Yeah,
everything around here is old. Old basements were not watertight on the outside like they try to make them today. Mm-hmm. They get a little bit of moisture. Now you take that moisture, you fill it with a bunch of storage, you put an old finished wall in it. Mm-hmm. And it's just prime for building up of moisture, building
like a
up
big
of mold.
sponge. Yeah,
basically,
like
yeah. Also, a lot of people don't realize basements, those windows, they're designed to be open to let air flow through.
Yep.
When it's 100 degrees out, none of us want to open a window and let that in. But like dehumidifiers take that moisture level down.
Right. So when you say the windows are meant to be open in the basement, you're saying to let the moisture out?
To get that cross breeze to pull that humidity out of the area and reduce that moisture level. Sure.
I mean, a lot of you go into these. I mean, I've been in so many basements, but you've been probably more than me. I don't know, probably equal basements.
Probably, yeah.
But I mean, most of you get in those historic homes or the older homes in Albany, Troy.
Yeah,
those windows don't even work.
No.
They don't work.
No, most house older than 20, 30 years, most time those windows don't work at all.
Work. I just had mine replaced, and I've actually been opening it. They're nice. They're sliders now. Yeah. They used to be. They'd have those like hooks. I mean, I'm using my hands right now.
Those old metal windows that they just never move ever again.
They never worked before. So now I've been opening and letting the air come in. What about like can the water source be like leaky pipes or something?
Oh, for sure.
Right?
So, leaks, water leaks, of course, can cause it. We don't see that being the cause as much as you'd think, though, to be honest with you. The biggest cause, but with going with pipes, you get a really hot and humid basement, especially these old, like, stone basements, and everything sweats.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all been in those basements before where the copper pipes are just dripping with sweat. That's how much moisture is just present in that basement. So it may not be a leak, but the cold water coming through that hot, humid basement will create that condensation.
Sure, and then that condensation sticks to all the floor joists.
Oh, it's everywhere,
right? And that's where you see it most commonly in basements, Matt. Am I correct? Like on joists, like wood.
Yeah, joist on the bottom of the subfloor usually, bottom of the actual flooring. Super prone to it because they collect up on dust. It needs organic, it needs food and it needs moisture, so it collects on that dust, and then you get the moisture, and it's just prime for mold growth.
It's prime for mold. And so at that point, that's where you guys will say, hey, listen, we found a mold-like substance, because you, as an inspector, are not allowed to use the word mold, correct?
Well, unless you have a mold license.
Unless you have a license, then you can, right?
So me as an inspector, I'm going to call it mold.
You're going to call it mold.
Yeah, so are any of my guys.
If you work for somebody that doesn't have that inspection license, the mold license, another inspector is only going to be able to call it mold-like substance. At that point, that becomes a pain in the butt. Because now you got to go. That guy can't identify it. Now the homeowner's like, oh, is it really mold? I mean, and then they start asking me. I'm like, I don't know. I don't have a mold license, so I don't really know, and I don't want to put myself where I'm telling them that it's mold when I'm really not sure that it is.
For sure.
So now you got to call in somebody to come and identify the mold at that point.
And the other thing to keep in mind, too, is if you're using an inspector doesn't have a mold assessment license, they may not even know that it is mold. They may look right past it as staining and not even realize that you do have mold in the house because they do not teach that in home inspection school.
Yeah, see that? Exactly. Home inspection school. That's where you learn all this stuff. So at that point, it's identified as mold. Assessor comes in. We don't need one with you.
Correct.
Now Matt's going to call a remediator, correct?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create that assessment report. I have recommendations for remediators I know you can trust and do it right.
Yeah.
You are free to call your own people if you want, but that assessment report goes right to that remediator and gives them guidelines for what I want to see to deem that cleared at the end of the project.
And that was going to be my question because, I wanted to know, okay, you found mold. Now what do I do?
For sure.
So, Matt, you've got the answer.
I've got a couple of people that we really know and trust that know we're going to do that process right. I'm not going to push them on you, but if you ask us, do you have anybody? The answer is always absolutely.
No, but I'm going to as a realtor. Why would they take the gamble and not use somebody that's already tied to the solution instead of gambling? Well, my cousin told me that he's got a good mold remediator. Like, no, we're not doing that. We're going with Matt's people because they've been through the process, and we're not having you gamble with a stranger outside the transaction. That would be at least my recommendation. Do you get into it? This is number 5 is now that we've, somebody foolishly didn't have their home pre-inspected, okay, at my recommendation. We're in the process now where mold has been discovered. Matt's called it mold, and now a remediator is being called upon to take care of it. Matt, number 5, giving a credit versus remediation. What do you usually, do you make the recommendation? I asked you this offline, but oh my God, there's 1 minute left. How can there only be 1 minute left?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I can jump in real quick on that.
Quick, go.
So we typically recommend going with the remediation. You can take the credit if you're not super concerned about it, but I think it's something that you just want to get rid of. It's not really, you don't want that mold, you don't want that moisture. Let's get it out of there.
Okay. So you're basically telling them, get it taken care of. Don't worry. The credit's not as important as doing it.
In my opinion,
and I agree with you because, and again, sometimes it's dependent, but if the deal does fall apart, you've taken care of the situation, right? Now you've got paperwork and documentation to back that up. which you probably should have done ahead of time like we told you to.
For sure.
But now you've got the documentation to back it up, so when we do put the property back on the market if it falls apart, you guys now have, as the home seller, all the information that the
and a lot of times a warranty from that remediator as well.
Yes, warranties are huge. Okay, listen, we're going to wrap this up. We're going to take a quick break. After the break, we'll wrap it up, and we'll talk to you guys in a minute.
To schedule an appointment with John Bevilacqua to help you buy or sell your home, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. John will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guarantee radio show here on Magic 100.5 and AM 590.
Hi, I'm Matthew Stonecipher, owner of Ace Home Inspections. Whether you're buying or selling a home, let your agent know that you want to work with Ace Home Inspections because you insist on the best home inspection services in the capital region. You can also expect a home warranty, pest inspection, and mold assessment included at no additional cost. You deserve better than just a guy in a truck with a notepad. At Ace Home Inspections, we are fully staffed and here for you when you call 518-727-7091 or visit us online at acehomeny.com.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful. What's really the best rate? Which term makes sense? Hi, I'm Ben Forcucci at Freedom One Funding in Latham. We work with 10 different lenders who provide 100 different mortgage products. I'll listen to what your needs are, and then I'll do the work to find the right option for your particular situation. We have special expertise in helping first-time home buyers. So eliminate the stress and call me today at 542-LOAN. I'm Ben Forcucci from Freedom One Funding, and I'll do the shopping for you. Call 542-LOAN.
Buying or selling the place you call home can be stressful. When you have questions, you don't want to wait for answers. Well, for 20 years, Kim Salerno and her team at Salerno Law have built a solid reputation with buyers, sellers, and real estate agents as fast, respectful communicators. They know Salerno Law will protect their rights and respond quickly when a question arises. Trust Salerno Law. Call 518-309-3404 and check out their 5-star reviews at SalernoLawNY.com.
If you're buying or selling your home and would like to schedule an appointment with John, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show and your host, John Bevilacqua.
Man, that went fast.
It does.
I can't believe
so fast.
It's fast. So before we run out of time again, quick, Matt. I know we wanted to cover as the last tip as future and prevention and maintenance. Give us quick some tips on how, now that you got the mold taken care of, how do we prevent it from coming back?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So biggest one is in storage areas. Keep them kind of clean. Dust is food for mold, so keep the dust content down.
Okay.
The other thing is don't clutter all your storage tight. Things need to breathe. Attics, basements, they need breathing space. So don't go shoving stuff right into the rafters. Don't shove it against the foundation wall. Mm-hmm. Give some breathing space. I think the other thing that would be best is look at those areas you don't go to. Put your eyes on it occasionally. Mm-hmm. Put your eyes in that attic. Put your eyes down in the basement areas you may not go in just periodically. See if there's an issue so you can catch it before it's a massive issue.
And if people don't know what to look for, what do you look for?
Look for some light discoloration, evidence of like moisture. If you see dripping or anything when it's hot and humid, those are all things that are going to cause a problem eventually.
Okay, very good. All right, listen, we got 1 minute. Don't forget, your real estate referrals help the community. We're on a mission to raise $50,000 for Make-A-Wish Northeastern New York, Capital Region Veterans Legacy Project, and the Animal Protective Foundation. So we actually donate a portion of all of our real estate commissions to all these fine charities, and you can help us by referring a family member, friend, anybody you know might be looking to buy or sell a house. We will put them in good hands, make them part of our award-winning sales team. We're going to put them in touch with Matt so they make sure they pre-inspect their house and do the things the right way so they don't get caught in a situation during the negotiations where they have to give up money and pricing on the house because they didn't have them pre-inspected. So want to thank Matt from ACE again. We tackled the mold show, even though I think there's still a lot more to talk about on mold.
For sure. We can talk about it all day long.
Might have to do a mold show part 2.
Okay.
Thanking Johnny G over here for working the switchboards for us. And if you want to contact Matt directly, you can give him a call on his cell, 518-727-7091. And you guys can give us a call, too, at 957-SOLD. That's 957-7653. Thanks again for listening, guys. We'll catch you next week on the Your Home Sold Guaranteed Radio and Real Estate Talk Show.
The Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show is presented by Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, the property shop. Join broker and founder John Bevilacqua every Saturday morning at 8:30 to hear about the latest real estate trends here in the capital region, where to find the best mortgage rates, home insurance, home warranties, and more. To speak to John about buying or selling your home, call now to schedule an appointment. 518-957-SOLD. That's 518-957-7653. Or go to JohnnyHasTheBuyers.com. That's JohnnyHasTheBuyers.com.